Welcome back to Game of Growth. You're listening to episode 15, and I'm your host, Tina Verma from Truepush. So, we have a very interesting guest with us today. He's 20 years old. He has won Forbes 30 Under 30 Asia Award. So, let's welcome Karthik Jonna, the co founder at Paperboy. So, Paperboy is India's first online news discovery and distribution application that aggregates newspapers and magazines accessible on any device. Paperboy has won the award for Best Tech Aggregator of the Year 2018 by Entrepreneur Magazine and Franchisee India, and also Young Startup of the Year by APS Media. So, how are you doing, Karthik? It's really great to be here and talking to you with a very young entrepreneur of India.
Hi, China. It's great to be here and really excited to be part of my first podcast. So, really excited there at that part. And thank you for having me today.
Great, Karthik. So let's hit it on. So the question is, how did you come up with this unique idea of building Paperboy, which currently serves with more than 200 newspapers and magazines online?
Okay. One small thing. So, Paperboy, we have close to 450 plus newspapers and magazines.
Okay,
Okay.
corrected.
So, on the background, once my dad and I were discussing, randomly, why don't youngsters really read newspapers every morning?
Mm-hmm.
So we were just debating, brainstorming what can be the reasons. And during that particular phase, the fake news nuisance was coming up a lot. A lot of people were falling prey to fake news, and it was, actually getting to a great extent. People were actually, believing fake news more than the actual this thing because
Right.
of fake news was easily accessible. So we were randomly thinking, what can be done to solve this particular problem. So my dad and I were randomly discussing, and we thought, why not the newspapers are directly delivered to the mobile phones or the devices every morning before 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. That time people can just read the newspapers with just a click of a button. But the existing problem was, let's say, people of my age group can't, going to colleges or schools, we can't really spend 10 to 20 minutes in the morning rush hour, sit in a place, read an entire newspaper, and then leave to college because we get up late, and by the time we get ready and stuff, it gets really, delayed. So we thought, what if the newspaper is directly delivered to them? They can read it whenever they want, wherever they want. So
Mm-hmm.
that was the basic idea. And by doing that, we thought, since newspapers have authentic news, it's verified news, and it's under a brand. All no, entire news is under a brand, and it's verified, it's documented. There's no really chance, there's no much of a chance where fake news might come out. And even if they report some misleading news or a fake news, next day they apologize, next day they put out a printout saying that uh, so and so thing was said on so and so date, and we are sorry for the mistake. This is the
Mm-hmm.
actual news, and that is what comes out. And it's you're informed the right way, and you don't fall prey to the negative news. So we thought, let's bring all the major newspapers on a single platform, and
Mm-hmm.
people can just choose it. They have a single place where they can read newspapers, magazines, everything on a single platform, and just directly get subscribe to them, and the newspaper will be delivered to them every morning. So that was the whole basic idea of Paperboy.
Right. Great. That's amazing. So, Paperboy, this is the name, right? So, how did you come up with this interesting name?
So initially we were thinking about myenewspapers.com or myepapers.com, but what we realized that it was not really clicking. That it was too cliche,
You're right.
to put it in the right words, my newspapers, and it didn't sound unique. So we were randomly thinking about what can be done, and one of my known person, known circle, he suggested, why don't you name it Paperboy?
Mm-hmm.
It sounds young, it sounds youthful, it's the first job for many people. And one more thing, it is, it's catchy. Paperboy is catchy, and it directly relates to the name. Newspapers and magazines delivered, and the Paperboy delivers. We are delivering it on the digital platform. So that's how that was the whole idea behind the name. And we didn't get the domain initially. We The domain name was booked with someone else. We had
Mm-hmm.
to talk to them. It was a brand in US, I think. We had to talk to them, negotiate with them, and then buy it from them. the domain name. So that was a challenge, but we thought, that it was worth it. And till date, that investment has been one of the best. It's an asset for us. The name is an asset for us, and it's been, uniquely, we are able to identify paperboy.com, and it's catchy. The main thing is it's catchy and it's different. So that's the whole story behind the name Paperboy.
Right, right, great. And that's how Paperboy started in India. So,
That's right.
what's what's the process for onboarding different papers and magazines, which is like, well, in different languages, very different vernaculars magazines you're providing and newspapers you're providing. So, how do you onboard these, and are there any specific requirements from your partners and as well?
The process is pretty simple. They don't have, I mean, specific requirements. They have to be RNI registered with the Press Bureau of India and various other government agencies. They have to be registered there. Then we take the RNI number, and that is the whole basis. That shows that you're a legal entity, not just a random newspaper out there. So we talk to them, we negotiate with them, and the process is we create an API or a FTP file for them, and where they just, before the newspaper is ready, before they send it to print, they send a copy to us directly to our servers, and it's directly pushed to the user. Whoever has subscribed to that particular newspaper, he gets a notification saying that your newspaper is delivered. So the process is pretty simple, and what we wanted to do is we wanted to create a digital experience for newspapers who don't have the technical capabilities to do that.
Right.
The tier 2, tier 3 newspapers, the regional district papers, various regional language papers, the interior parts, they don't have the digital capabilities to do that. So they send us, we create the infrastructure, digital infrastructure for them, and they send us the data. So we are giving them a platform for them, for the newspaper to be seen from people around the world.
to
So
to to kind of automate this process of delivering the newspaper to your platform, isn't it?
correct. That's right. So it's a complete automation process, and it's directly, I think it's a 5 to 10 minutes process for them to just upload it and send it to us. That's it. There's no
Oh,
other cost that is involved for them.
great, great. Oh, that's very simple. It sounds really interesting as well. So, one follow-up question I would like to ask Karthik. A
Hmm.
decade back, when everyone used to consume newspaper and magazine in India, which
Hmm.
started to wane with the advent of online and digital publishing in India. But still, India has the second largest newspaper and market in the world as of 2018, which the
Correct.
Wikipedia states. So, how is the scope for the digital consumption of newspapers in India specifically?
So one thing is there's a lot of talk going on, outside that, newspaper is going to die, print media is going to die, and hard copy is going to die and stuff. But one thing is that's actually not true, because if you look at the numbers, okay, I agree there's a small diminish in the numbers, but if you look at the overall sense, newspaper reading is won't go down that easily. People are still dependent on the newspapers, and they still love reading the newspapers.
Right.
So that isn't going to go down. One thing with the digital is they can reach, the thing with digital, there's a lot of scope, because see, now it is estimated that close to 550 million new users are going to be added in, are going to use the internet for the first time in the coming 2 to 3 years. I was reading the data, and these people are, are internet users who can definitely want to read the newspapers of their region, and they'll be excited when they see, oh, my regional newspaper is here.
That's so
The
true.
news My
Yeah.
regional, that's right, yeah, my regional newspaper is here. I didn't Oh, I can't, they'll be like, okay, so I'm staying away from my hometown, but my regional newspaper, which was didn't have a digital infrastructure, now is digital and I can read it. So
Right.
a whole new audience, a whole new segment is getting formed, and the existing users also, the existing internet users will definitely, slowly they'll be converting into digital medium of reading newspaper. I mean, there's huge potential here, and there is, a lot of users which will be, accepting this on a day-to-day basis.
Right. In fact, I would have to agree with you. With time, um, um, people actually want to have authentic experiences, and
Exactly.
uh, even if you're consuming the news through magazine or news and information through magazine and newspapers, be it digital or be it in the paper format. People would love to have the authentic experience, and that's where the key lies.
Exactly. I know because of fake news and misinformation, people have been killed.
Right.
People have died,
Hmm.
and that is they read just random forwards, and they'll be like, "Oh, these guys are coming to attack us. Let us attack them." And people have literally died in numerous parts, and we have all read that,
Right. There are
and
cases
it's
of mob lynching. There are cases.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, and it's too sad, and it's really sad. Based on one simple text is getting you killed, you can understand the seriousness of this issue.
Right. Hmm.
And with the ongoing COVID situation or the previous EA, NRC, or whatever, there was immense amount of fake information out there.
Right.
Nobody really knows what they're talking about. They have no idea, but they have one fixed agenda and they want to just promote that agenda.
Right. In fact, it's a I would say it's a game of fake forwarding. The data is getting
Exactly.
forwarded to a chain of people, and nobody actually try to verify the source of that. So I think
Exactly.
that's where platforms like Paperboy, where they kind of provide all sort of magazines and newspapers in one platform, and the news is actually verified.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the whole agenda. That's
So,
right.
the moving on to the next question, which is
Hmm.
like, who is your target audience and how unique is the user experience when we compare the paperback version and the digital consumption? So, also, what are you doing to focus more on user experience on your platform, Paperboy? How are you strategizing on it?
Okay. So the target audience. So first thing with the target audience is we initially concentrated on the millennials, people of my age group,
Hmm.
who can, we wanted them to, because they have access to smartphones and internet.
Right.
And we thought, if we start little, slowly converting them, simplify the process, they'll definitely be our regular users. And that has really worked for us, because out of my user base, 64% are from the age group of 18 to 32.
Right.
This age group was usually ignored by the, people just, have said, okay, kids don't read, youngsters don't read newspapers, let's not concentrate on them.
Hmm.
But we have data that states, that they are wrong. 18 to 32-year-olds make 64% of my user base. So
Right.
the millennials have been my target audience. But later, fake news, what we realized is fake information, fake news affects everyone.
Hmm.
And we have gone to an extent where, everyone is a paper, any person with a mobile phone can be a Paperboy, uh, Paperboy user.
Hmm. Right.
And information is, key for everyone. It's just, the filtration that should happen, like, for youngsters, young audience, and the seniors. It's just different level of thing that should be there. But since we realize that every person is our target audience, and one of our core target audience are the NRI crowd, the Indian diaspora
Hmm.
staying abroad. They are one of my, core user, because they want to stay connected to their hometown.
Right.
And since the newspaper is, delivered to them every morning, just like back there, just like their hometown. So they're
Hmm.
more keen on using paper. And with pure word of mouth marketing, we have reached close to 65 countries.
Wow.
Indians in 65 countries are using paper every single day.
Wow.
And it's been pure word of mouth, nothing. We haven't done a single campaign outside India, and it worked for us.
I
It was
think
pure word of mouth.
the idea at whoever it could be, if they listen to it, the idea itself is very appealing. So
That's right. That's right.
word of mouth would do the justice actually. Right.
Okay. So, in terms of user experience, what we have done is we simplified the process of, digitally reading a newspaper on the webs on various other websites on Paperboy. So what we have done is, say, if you want to generally read an e-paper, you have to, like, say, open Google and Google the publication name you want to read, then select the edition, sub edition, and select the page you want to read, all that stuff. And that actually is a 8 to 9 step process, which we thought was too lengthy. And people like things simple.
Right.
People like things simple, and it was a quite a complicated process for everyone to do spend some time every day in the morning to do that. So what we realized is we can make this into a two-step process for the first time. Once they subscribe to a newspaper, the notification is delivered to the user's phone every morning. So just have to click on the notification and the newspaper is there. So it's just a
Okay.
one-step process which we brought it down to. And simplicity, we introduced the simpleness in reading a newspaper and introduced the simplicity into that. So that really, worked for us. And more people started subscribing to our newspapers, and with just a click of a button at 5 a.m, 5:30 a.m, 6 a.m, when the newspaper is ready, they just click on the notification and done, they're reading their newspaper.
Right. So I think I would agree with you. So simplicity and using push notifications is what have helped your brand, to reach them in a correct, to reach your audience in a correct manner.
Correct.
And also,
That's right.
I would agree with you. In fact, push notifications, brands have started to realize the importance of this tool, which has the power to convey news and information and whole lot of data with just one single click.
Exactly.
So, kudos to that. Moving on to the next question, how do you
Mhm.
engage your customers on the website and mobile app, which have more than millions of downloads? So, how do you engage your customers?
So yeah, one thing is every morning, uh, on a daily basis, I have a team of 45 people who, go through the entire newspaper and find interesting content. And based on the personalized experiences which we map for each and every user, we send a particular notification to one particular set of users, which we think is more relatable for them and which they can read it, which, they'll be more, which they are like, more likely to open it and read it.
Right.
So we primarily we engage users in that way, and based on their regional languages, their interests, their area, the geography which they want, based on their demography, we map them into various buckets, and we are able to push notifications. And this is one of the key things for us. And since it's a news app, newspaper, news information app, they don't mind getting notifications.
Right.
So that
Right.
is a key, engaging to our users. And other than that, there is various other, social media campaigns which we do, social media stories, Instagram stories or Facebook stories which we put up, and Snapchat stories which we put up to the select audience and stuff. So they can, if they find something interested, if we find something interesting, we put it as a story. We story it on Instagram, and
Hmm.
people can, if they're going through, they can just read it, and we share the link also, so they come back to the platform to read that particular article in detail.
Right.
So 3 4 other things we use to further push along the engagement.
Perfect. Perfect. So, a quick question, Karthik. What marketing strategies do you follow to grow your brand?
Yeah. So initially we tried doing little, Google ads or the Facebook ads or various random strategies.
Hmm.
But what we thought is, there no really much traction which we were getting. So we actually concentrated on the existing users, giving them the proper user experience, and we completely relied on, organic growth.
Okay.
So initially, I think for the first 6 months, we did various kind of marketing, brand activities, and PR activities and stuff. That has worked for us. No denying that, but it really didn't work in a way that which we expected. So
Hmm.
we cut down on all the marketing activities, and now we are just engaging our users through social media and various word of mouth strategies which we are using, and we are doing way to B2B partnerships
Hmm.
to increase the user base of Paperboy. Say, for example, we are on PhonePay. We are the default newspaper reading app on PhonePay.
Hmm.
Say for food, to order food online, there are particular app for that. To book your cab, there's particular on app on PhonePay. And for reading newspaper, it's Paperboy. So
Oh.
we did an exclusive partnership with PhonePay, and we are next partnering with Paytm, and we are partnered with Exigo and various other platforms. We are partnering with various other government institutions, and these are the marketing activities which we are doing in a B2B scale, where we have loyal users, we have regular users,
Hmm.
and we grow slowly rather than growing fast and taking off as such a way. Instead of doing that, We are sustainably we are growing. That is what we truly believe in here at Paperboy, to grow sustainably, and that is what we are doing currently.
So hopefully, further partnerships would add value to your brand, and it will grow exponentially plus sustainably. Uh,
That's right.
so the next question is, how do you monetize your platform?
Yeah. So in terms of monetization, for the first 1.5 2 years, we haven't we completely focused on the user experience part of it, for the users to get a hold of the platform, to increase the user base, to know where the platform was growing. Since I was I was more keen on that than finding out than concentrating on the revenue model of side of things.
Right.
We thought eventually, if the users will stick on, we can definitely figure out something. So one part of our revenue comes from advertisement. A small section comes from ads.
Mm-hmm.
uh, Another section comes from in-app subscriptions of, say, magazines or various other things. In-app subscription, that comes one part of it. And other part, is the government tie-ups which we have done. We are part of the Tumkuru Digital Library. It's a town in Karnataka, where the smart city project, we are part of the smart city project, and we take care of the digital library side of things.
Wow, that's amazing.
And thank you. And so by doing that, we are looking into expand, look more detail in the digital version side of it. But since the timing is bad now, that's been put on hold on the current scale. And we are in various educational institutions, where we are in various colleges, various universities, various government agencies have been using us, Paperboy, and eventually we're going to start, monetizing it through subscriptions, paid subscriptions, and stuff. That is in a phase by phase process.
Right. Also, a small question for a question that did this situation, the pandemic is going on and COVID-19 cases are rising,
Mhm.
but the digital consumption is increasing. So, how has this situation affected your platform?
So it's a two thing. First thing is our users have grown exponentially.
Hmm.
There's insane increase of our users now, and it was all all organic.
Right.
All users have searched for us, because since newspapers have stopped, or the physical copy has stopped, due to the logistics issue, and due to the societies not allowing newspapers and stuff, and
Yeah.
because of certain rumors and certain things, they stopped reading the physical copy of the newspaper. So the next option is digital. And
Right.
during this time, we partnered with numerous people, and in terms of user base, it's increased a lot for us. Users have grown immensely. But in terms of revenue, as I said, whatever deals with the corporates, with education institutions were ongoing, those have come under a halt. They have been
Right.
paused as of now, and we are hoping to resume it at the earliest. But it's a lot of uncertainty.
Right.
And in terms of partnerships, and in terms of certain percentage of revenue took a hit. So, but obviously, we are trying to mitigate that issue by using other strategies to supplement it, to have a substitute for those particular things. So we have to look at, we have to see how this pans out, and how we are going to adapt and change.
Right. Great. You started Paperboy when you were just 18 years old, which is pretty much great. So how does that feel, and exactly what motivated you? Do you have any other career plans as well apart from Paperboy?
So initially, we thought about Paperboy when I was 18,
Hmm.
and for 2 3 years, we just since I was like we didn't rush into things. We took it phase by phase, slowly, because I was doing my first year of BBA during that time. And the thing with my college timing, CMS University, is that we had only 4 hours of college. So first and initial, the first 7:30 to 11:30, or 7:30 10:30, we used to be done by college, and that we had the rest of the day for ourselves. So that really gave me a boost. Like, I didn't want to waste a lot of time on it. And we were just trying to figure out, since my dad and I were trying to figure out, trying to understand what can we do and what can be done. I used that time to push it. And one thing is, it's fun. Starting young is fun, because some people take you seriously, some people don't take you seriously. It's a mix and match of that. But most people are, want to give you an opportunity. Since you're starting out young, they're like, okay, he took the risk. He's starting out. Let's give him an opportunity. Let's give him this thing. So that, in terms of that, that really, uh, people accepted me. And in terms of my employees and stuff, there was no ego as such from their end, and they really, took me seriously. And we had that, initial, obviously, certain bottlenecks were there, but after that, things were actually smooth. Things are actually smooth now. And starting young, there's much lesser risk for me, for anyone, when they're starting out young, they have nothing much to lose. They have the freedom to fail.
Right.
And you're not married, and you don't have kids and whatever. So if you're losing, you don't lose much. And you can, if you fail, you can put in a solid 4 5 years into it, and you'll still be 23 25. And if it doesn't work out, you can just come out and do what you wanted to do. I mean, what you can, look out for a job or anything. That is one way to look at it. But since, starting young, that it gives you an immense advantage as such. You'll have enough time to figure out, to strategize things, and
Mm-hmm.
to figure out things, more precisely. And what motivated me in terms of doing that, one thing is, it was always, I wanted to be part of something. I always wanted to do something. Look, I've been totally inspired by my father, and the way he started things, the way he does things and stuff. And that really motivated me to, do something, rather than the routine stuff where, get a job, get married, whatever, and, study well, get a job and stuff. Just wanted to come out of that. I was a very
Mm-hmm.
average student back in college and back in school. I was like really average by scoring and stuff. And that, was like, always a thing for me, that, I have to be good at something. I just don't want to be that some, some average guy to do average things. I want to
Mm-hmm.
do something big, or fail at it, at least fail, right? Trying and fail doing at it. I didn't
Right.
mind failing. And that gave me the freedom to fail, and that gave me, a lot of, uh, I think, it gave me a space for innovation, to innovate something, to try things differently. And some clicked, some failed miserably. Sometimes, things went so bad for us, and sometimes things worked actually good for us and stuff. And one thing is, my parents gave me the freedom to do what I wanted to do. There was no restriction or resistance from there, and they gave me the complete freedom. They gave the initial required push and the platform and everything. And I use that platform to my advantage, to our advantage, to make something better. So in terms of that, there was absolutely no resistance from my parents. They're like, do what you want to do. If you fail, doesn't matter, we'll do something else. So that was the thing, which, the push I got from my parents. And in terms of career paths, there's nothing, like, I'm all in now. I'm all into Paperboy. I'm all in. And there's nothing else I would rather do also. I don't think I'm good at anything else than this. So in terms of career paths, I'm not sure. I think it's only Paperboy. There's nothing else. One thing is, I would definitely would like to do my masters, finish my masters, and again manage education, my masters and Paperboy both, even wherever I'm studying also. But
Mm-hmm.
since with the existing COVID scenario, I don't know when that'll happen now, when it's safe for us to travel. And I don't know. It's again a certainty. Otherwise, I
Right.
was supposed to leave this September,
Mm-hmm.
for the September intake, and now it's again uncertain. But yeah, my masters is one thing which I want to do. I want to experience that and overall have fun there.
So, in your graduation, you did this blast. I don't know what you'll do when you'll complete your masters. So,
Probably nothing.
also, I'll take this from you. Freedom to fail, right? I think young Indians should take a message from this one: freedom to fail. Fail as much as you can, and then bring out the best you can provide.
That's right. But one thing is, like, we are a country where we have a lot of problems, and problems translate into opportunities. That's the way I look at things. Like, if you sit and observe, like, that I think we have close to a million, billion problems, billion people, billion problems are there. And we can definitely, have a business model. We can definitely make this into a business model and try to solve the
Right.
issues. And see, I mean, we always have, inspired by other countries to startups are started by other countries, and we have followed their suit. And it's a
Right.
challenge, implementing their idea into India. It's a huge challenge.
Mhm.
It's not. I mean, people have been criticized for doing that, but it's immense challenge, to do something for the Indian market, because we are completely different from the world.
Right. Our perspectives are different. Our audience is completely
Exactly.
different.
Exactly. Our income levels are different. Our languages are different. Everything is different. So it's
Yeah.
a great thing, that they replicated it, and they brought it to, for our ecosystem where we are using it every day. So one thing is, for Paperboy, we were, I don't say it's, the completely we innovated our way through, because the basis was already there. The basic was already there. And we improvised on the product. We innovated on various other things which have clicked for us.
Right.
So one thing I would like to tell everyone is, innovation is the key instead of imitation. No, I would definitely say, innovation is the key for us, for India to go forward, and to, contribute the same for our country as well. We have the resources, we have the population that will use it. We have people that, only thing is it should be simple enough. You have to start small and think big. That is
Right.
what I truly believe. Always start small. Like, you don't have to go, spend every rupee you have on it initially itself. You can start small, try to understand, create a MVP product, try with a smaller user base, understand the issues. I mean, understand get their feedback, make it better, take it to another level, and try to understand their feedback as well. And slowly you can develop it like that. Because initially we did make that mistake. Like, we started a bit big instead of small, and that backfired on us.
Hmm.
But it's all for the good.
Yeah. It's probably one of the learnings.
Exactly. It's all part of the learning curve.
Instead of replicating the ideas, focus on innovation. So, along with this message, would you like to give like any parting thought to young entrepreneurs of India on innovation and contributing to India?
Uh, One thing is, yeah, I would again say, innovation is the key. There's so many problems out there, and which need solutions. Only thing is, we need to think our way through and start small, think big. I think that is what I can think of as of now.
Hmm.
And eventually, that's going to contribute to our economy as a whole. We can be self-sustained, and one thing is, you don't, many people start the company, thinking that, okay, I'll do this for 2 months, I'll become rich, and I can go chill somewhere.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that is the wrong mindset, because even you put, work, slog for the for 2 3 years, nothing might happen.
Right.
You might be same place where you started. Thing is, you should have your patience, you should believe in your product, have patience in your product, and try to understand where it is going, and then it might be a hit. But I'll be a billionaire in 2 months, 3 years. Once I start, I'm doing this, to become a billionaire, to chill there, to be here, to travel the world. I mean,
Hmm.
it sounds fancy, but it doesn't happen like that.
Right, right. This is so wonderfully put, Karthik. This is such an absolutely amazing discussion with you, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the podcast number 15, and this is Karthik Jonna, co-founder at Paperboy. Thank you so much, Karthik.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you. Amazing session. Thank you.